Hi y'all, the 75th annual Tony Awards are coming up very shortly, so here are my predictions from what I think is going to take home the Antoinette Perry Award this year. Hi, my name is Kate, and I love talking about theater because theater is life. Now, as a disclaimer, I did see most of the nominees this year, though I am missing 3 shows. That's Plaza Suite, American Buffalo, and The Music Man. Those tickets were pricey, and I'm not made of money. However, based off of my research, I honestly don't think any of those 3 are taking home any awards, but who knows? Starting off with Best Orchestrations, I think we're gonna see this go to Simon Hale for Girl from the North Country. Girl from the North Country is kind of a dark horse this year. You don't see a lot of people talking about it, but the pieces that musical does well, it does exceptionally well. And one of those pieces is its orchestrations. The orchestrations are absolutely stunning, and they help to set these Bob Dylan songs in the world of this musical. Next up, Best Choreography. I think MJ has this one hands down. Now, there was a lot of really great choreography this year, and I would not be sad if this award goes to Camille A. Brown for Colored Girls, but ultimately I think MJ just really excels with the choreo. Christopher Wheeldon did a really great job of taking some iconic Michael Jackson moves and meshing it together with some of his own choreography to really help bring that story together and to tell the story of Michael Jackson. It is one of the strengths of a very, very strong jukebox musical. For Best Sound Design of a Musical, it's kind of a toss-up for me between either MJ or Company. Gareth Owen did a really great job on the sound design for MJ. It feels vibrant, it feels like a concert, but Company also does some really cool things with the sound. The sound design for Company really helps to bring that show to life. There's kind of an ongoing theme throughout the show of a ticking clock, of babies crying, that really helped to tell the story that Marianne Elliott was trying to tell, and Ian Dickinson did a really great job with it. It's between those 2 shows for me. I think Company is going to take it, but I would not be upset if MJ ends up winning. For Best Sound Design of a Play, this is hands down going to Dana H. Dana H is a play that was entirely sound design. The entire show is Deirdre O'Connell, the actress, lip-syncing to audio of Lucas Hanath's mother telling her story. It is meshed together beautifully, and if Mikhail Fixel doesn't win this, it'll be quite a bit of an upset in my opinion. For Best Lighting Design of a Musical, I think this one's going to Jen Shriver for A Strange Loop. A Strange Loop is a show that has a very minimal set for like 90% of the show, but the lights really help to bring those musical numbers to life along with the great performances. But I also think this is a really tough category. I could see this award going to 6 because the lighting in 6 really helps to bring that concert feel to life, or I could see it going to Company. Company does a lot of really creative stuff with its lighting. I could see it taking the award at the end of the day. For Best Lighting Design of a Play, this is another tough category for me, and I could see a couple shows taking it, but my personal pick is Jane Cox for Macbeth. Macbeth is a show that has very minimal setting, but the lighting helped to kind of build on the campiness of this production. For Best Costume Design of a Musical, I think this one's going to Gabriella Slade for 6. These costumes are iconic, and not only are they representative of a girl group, but they help to bring each of these queens to life. Plus, that quick change is just spectacular. Now, speaking of quick changes, I could also see this one going to William Ivy Long for Diana. However, I hope it doesn't. William Ivy Long has very serious allegations against him, and even the production ended up distancing themselves from him. He was not part of the Netflix Pro Shot, nor was he there when the show returned to Broadway. However, because he designed all of those costumes initially, they still have to give him credit. But ultimately, I hope that he is not awarded credit where credit is due, though. Those costume changes are kind of iconic, and getting to see that wedding dress quick change up close was mind-boggling. For Best Costume Design of a Play, I definitely want to see this go to Serafina Bush. She had to dress all of these women monochromatically, but also give them their own personality. I think it is very interesting that Serafina Bush and Gabriella Slade had very similar tasks to do in their shows, and in my opinion, they both knocked it out of the park. And the details on those costumes are absolutely impeccable. Kenita Miller's Lady in Red costume featured earrings that said Little Red on them, which was the nickname that she gave her own child during the rehearsal period. Serafina just knocked it out of the park. I really hope she takes this award. Now, my personal favorite categories are Scenic Design. I absolutely adore Scenic Design, and for Scenic Design in a musical, I want this to go to Bunny Christie for Company. The Company set is absolutely spectacular, and it's very ambitious, just considering how many technical difficulties that they had at the beginning. There was also a rain effect that was happening that unfortunately no longer exists because it was causing the set to break down, but it was just really, really cool. And the set design really helps with that down the rabbit hole theme that Marion Elliott was going for in her revival. However, this is a category that also combines the projection designers, and the projections for Flying Over Sunset were stunning. So I could see a Flying Over Sunset upset. However, with Flying Over Sunset having closed such a long time ago, I wonder if people will remember it. For Best Scenic Design of a Play, this is the strongest category overall. I would like all of these scenic designers to take home the award, but ultimately I want to see this go to Adam Rigg. They did such a spectacular job with the Skin of Our Teeth set. The details were impeccable. Even the proscenium arch starts to decay as the play goes on, and really they should just win it for the slide alone. That slide was iconic. Now, as we get to the acting awards, this is where stuff gets really exciting. The acting this year was just tremendous across the board. For Best Featured Actress in a Musical, this is one of the toughest categories for me. Ultimately, I think Patti LuPone's going to take it, but my personal pick is Elle Morgan Lee. I thought she was absolutely spectacular, and it would be a historic win. No out trans actress has ever been nominated, let alone won that award before. For Best Featured Actor in a Musical, again, I think Company is going to win and Matt Doyle's going to take it. However, I would also love to see John Andrew Morrison take this for A Strange Loop. For his Periodically alone, I have never seen a musical number be so heartbreaking and so entertaining at the same time. He does a really great job with all of the characters that his thought has to play, and I really want to see him be awarded for that. For Best Featured Actress in a Play, this is a toss-up for me between Rachel Dratch in POTUS and Kenita Miller in For Colored Girls, and they are doing very opposite things in their play. However, I think Kenita Miller takes it. What Kenita Miller did in For Colored Girls was tremendous acting, and when you add on the fact that she was 8 and 9 months pregnant while performing that role, just heart-wrenching. For Best Featured Actor in a Play, I definitely think this is going to one of the guys from Take Me Out. Ultimately, my pick is going to be Jesse Tyler Ferguson. I thought he did a really great job of bringing levity to that play and just making you fall in love with him. However, I could also see Michael Oberholzer taking it. Oberholzer did a really great job of making you feel sympathy for kind of a horrendous character. For Best Leading Actress in a Musical, this is a two-way race right now between Joaquina Kalukango in Paradise Square and Sharon D. Clarke in Caroline or Change. I ultimately see Joaquina taking this because her show is still running, but I would love to see Sharon D. Clarke take this. I thought her Caroline was absolutely spectacular and very incredibly nuanced. For me, she's the pick. But Joaquina is carrying Paradise Square, and she's getting a mid-show standing ovation that is incredibly earned, and ultimately, I thought she should have won for Slave Play, so I would not be upset if she ends up winning this year. For Best Leading Actor in a Musical, again, this is a two-way race right now between Miles Frost and MJ or Jaquel Spivey in A Strange Loop. Jaquel is my personal pick. I think he does a tremendous job in A Strange Loop, but honestly, Miles could take this and I would not be upset about it. Miles really does bring Michael Jackson to life in MJ, and he does a really great job of playing this legendary character and kind of making you see the flaws in him as an artist. For Best Leading Actress in a Play, this is one of the toughest categories for me. I could see this going to any one of these women. I would love to see Gabby Beans take this for Skin of Our Teeth, but ultimately I think I'm gonna have to go with Deirdre O'Connell. Deirdre O'Connell in Dana H did not say a single word on that stage. She lip syncs the entire play and does such a spectacular job of bringing that story to life in just her physicality. I would love to see her go home with that award. Best Leading Actor in a Play is one of the most stacked categories with a total of 7 nominees. And in order for there to even be 7 nominees, that means that there was already a 3-way tie in the nominations. I think we may see a tie for this award too. Ties have happened before in Tony history, and because all of these actors are so incredibly strong, I would not be surprised if we saw a tie. I would love to see a 3-way tie for all of the men in the Lehman Trilogy. I do not think that's going to happen, but I potentially could see Adam Godley and Simon Russell Beale splitting this award. Adrian Lester was also fantastic, but he ultimately just had less memorable stuff to do in that show. He almost acts as the straight man in this trio of men in that play. But if I had to pick one singular actor, my pick is Adam Godley. Simon Russell Beale did a fantastic job too, and a lot of people are picking him. but Adam Godley's character is just kind of shown brighter for me. However, we could possibly also see a Ruben Santiago Hudson upset here, mainly because he did perform in a one-man show, was absolutely stunning in that role, and potentially the Lehman Brothers actors could just split the votes between them. For Best Direction of a Musical, this one's a really tough category for me, but ultimately I think it's going to Marianne Elliott for Company. The vignettes in the musical kind of seamlessly weave together, and she does a really great job with all of the design elements to help sort of move that piece forward. She really nails how much of a fever dream that musical is, and kind of this theme of Bobby going down the rabbit hole. For Best Direction of a Play, there are like 3 different ways that I can see this one going, but ultimately my pick is Liliana Blaine Cruz for Skin of Our Teeth. Liliana Blaine Cruz is quickly becoming one of my favorite directors ever. The choices that she makes in helping to revitalize this classic and make it feel like a modern play were absolutely tremendous. I could also see this going to Sam Mendes for the Lehman Trilogy. I think, like Company, the Lehman Trilogy is just a play where the movement of the entire piece is just beautifully woven together. But ultimately, my pick is Liliana Blaine Cruz, and I want to see her take home that award. For Best Original Score, this to me is a toss-up between A Strange Loop and Six, but I really want to see Six take this. This really is A Strange Loop's year. However, I kind of think that Six would have swept in 2020, and I would hate to see them go home empty-handed. I did give them costume design, but I really want to see them win score. The show itself is so iconic because of the songs. Not only are the songs really catchy, but I think they do a really good job of embodying the queenspirations for each queen to help tell that queen's story. Marlowe and Moss did a really great job here, and especially for their first musical, I just can't wait to see what they do next. For Best Book of a Musical, this is where I think Michael R. Jackson takes home the award for A Strange Loop. Books, in my opinion, are kind of the downfall of most modern musicals, where the scores are really, really strong, but the book doesn't live up to it. But what Michael R. Jackson does with A Strange Loop is beautifully mesh together the book and the score. In my opinion, he kind of has no competition for this award. Take into account as well that A Strange Loop also took home the Pulitzer Prize for Drama, an award that usually goes to plays, and I really think that's emblematic of just how strong this overall musical is. For Best Play Revival, honestly, this should have gone to Skin of Our Teeth, and the fact that it's not nominated is an absolute travesty. Ultimately, I think all of the remaining revivals kind of have something about them that I wish were improved upon. So I think it's a toss-up for me between Take Me Out and For Colored Girls. I definitely think For Colored Girls is going to take it, however. I just think it's stronger production overall. And while some of the design elements, other than the costumes, kind of felt short for me, I think it's just a stronger piece, and these performances really sell it. For Best New Play, this is hands down going to the Lehman Trilogy. In my opinion, it doesn't even have any competition in this category. I think there were definitely some new plays that should have been nominated that weren't, and in fact, my least 2 favorite plays of the season were both nominated, so this is kind of a category that I already am upset by, but the Lehman Trilogy overall was the strongest play of the season by far. I literally have no notes for this show. It is a show that I went in wanting to hate. A 3-hour play about a bunch of white guys ruining the economy just seemed really miserable to me, and it wasn't. It was 3 hours of thrilling storytelling. Literally, this play should have been super boring, and it was anything but. One of the biggest surprises of the season for me by far. For Best Musical Revival, this is going to Company hands down. Now, I loved Caroline or Change, but it was a limited run that closed a long time ago, and usually closed revivals don't win this award, but Company is just so well put together, I think it's going to take it home. And Best New Musical, hands down going to A Strange Loop. It has no competition. Again, the show won the Pulitzer, it swept when it was off Broadway, and this Broadway production is even more poignant. One of the best things about meta shows that really explore the writing process is they add a whole new level of poignancy when they actually make it to Broadway, because so much of that inner turmoil that the writer experiences during that show have to deal with, will this be successful if I write it? And to see a show like A Strange Loop actually make it to Broadway, especially after how long that show was in development, it's just such a great story, and the musical is so beautifully put together. I also love A Strange Loop because for me it represents what theater can be, the change that we want to see on Broadway. I absolutely loved this show and I can't see any other show taking home that big award at the end of the night. So those are all of my picks for the Tony Awards this year. We're gonna find out on Sunday, June 12th. Let me know some of your picks. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think my picks are just absolutely bonkers? Who do you want to see take home those awards? Let me know. Thank you for letting me talk about theater. If you don't already, please subscribe and hear me talk about some more stuff. And check me out on TikTok as well, where I post breaking theater news and some of my theater adventures across the country. Thank you for watching.